to one and all. Today's topic, less is more, is most aptly or described, or it can as a synonymous with the concept, very concept of less is more. As you see here, 2020, we talk in terms of overload of information. We talk in terms of a lot of difficult, we are in a state where there's plenty happening and we are not able to cope up with what is happening. And we keep talking of more or less. We see there is a constant strain, which is one keeps being desired, looking at a lot of desires, looking at need to get into more and more, and that disturbs the work balance, which is what we see here. Work balance having disturbed, we keep talking of more. At the end of the day, we realize the happiness that we are looking for is missing. So what is more, what is less, is a picture which we can look at in a concept where in lifestyle, we say, are we really happy? We are moving down the graph in terms of, if we look back 5 years, we were happy. And today, if we look back, we are only sliding down. So when we talk, we are continuously drawing on the resources. We are continuously talking in terms of various other achievements which we have. But at the end of the day, we are not happy. Now, where exactly is the problem? The problem is we want to draw more. We want to keep drawing more and more from the resources. We want to strip this very earth. And that's where the concept of green buildings, green concepts, etc., we are talking in. Now, the concept of less is more, as I see it, it's a balance in life which we need to talk of. When we talk in balance, we are talking in terms of maintaining an equilibrium both between desired and what we are aspiring for. We keep aspiring for something which is continuously depleting our resources, and the very conservation, the recycling, and the very reverse planning which we need to look at is what is missing. What we see here is we need to reuse, reshed, we need to bring back everything which in terms of resources, in terms of our material aspects, and in terms of what we have been trying to do with our limited available resources, we are overload. We are carrying a burden which is of the backlog, which is of our own creation. And that backlog, under the pressure of that, we realize we are less happy. Lesser the baggage, the more happy we will be. And that happiness is what we need to transcend into more or less. So this visual which you see in front of you is an explanation of mindful versus mindful. So it's very clear, your mind is all cluttered, and on the other hand, the little pet which is walking is free of any thoughts, and he's seeing exactly what is in front of him or her. So the question is, how can we bring back this focus? So the focus is basically where we need to look at less distraction, more focus, which is what, how, and why we can do to bring this focus back to our own creativity, to our own field. And if you look at simple examples of these visuals where you see it is on a minimalistic lines, the lines where you realize that nothing extra is there. It's taken out all the frills, and still the statement is so impactful. And the form, the process is coming out more strongly. Example like the perceived space versus the space that is actually there. A shallow water body which is adjoining the pool makes it visually look large. So for an architectural concept, it looks large, yet we are not done too much. A room on the left-hand side which is looking fully cluttered. On the other hand, we have a room which is less cluttered. So every time we add something, we are taking away from the space. And the concept here is take maximum out of rooms, out of the designs, and we find we have larger spaces to enjoy and keep it to minimalistic, which is housekeeping friendly, which is much more functionally efficient, and clean lines, which brings in a harmony. A little dose of color is something which always helps in bringing a spark in whatever we have been presenting here or talking. Less is more only when more is too much. This is a concept brought in by Frank Lloyd Wright, and this is at the point when he realized that less can sometimes get mundane and boring. And that's a time where you need to be realizing that we need to look at something which is more is too much. And now coming back to our planet, green planet, we need to build responsibly is what we realize. At the end of the day, we all as architects, as whatever people we are, we need to build. But can we build it with better awareness, better consciousness, better responsibility? There's a story of this potter who sets these pots, and there's an entrepreneur. He relaxes under the tree. The entrepreneur goes and says, hey, you, what are you doing? This is such a beautiful product which you have, and we can make $1 billion business out of this. Now, this is the guy who says, what do you do with that? He says, you're going to make big money, and you're going to have a great, happy, relaxed life. So he says, that's exactly what I was doing. What are you trying to do? So every time you want more, you're getting less. And that is what we need to realize, more or less.